with her presence and her song and her spirit. I'd like to introduce Omega Ray. We're blessed this morning with her song and her spirit. Thank you.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think that God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and leading us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. And God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, all in all, and leading us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. 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 You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world.
Day at the center. It is New Member Sunday. And at the end of service, you will have the opportunity to bear witness as 39 people pledge their commitment to their spirituality and to our community. For now, I ask you to join me in welcoming them.
Yay! Good morning. Good morning, gorgeous San Jose. Hi. Good morning, live streamers. My name is Jenna Maya, and I'm a member of this most awesome place. We'd like to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose, where we are transforming lives, building dreams, and revealing love, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. Welcome home. We'd like to give an extra special welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. We're so happy you're here. We have a welcome goodie bag, as I like to call them, in the at the concierge desk in Fellowship Hall, and if you want to leave through the back door, which is totally okay as well, we have some welcome goodie bags in the foyer. There are lots of ways to connect with our center. We have a Facebook page, our website, cslsj.org. We have awesome classes, workshops, and you can call us on the phone, and we will answer. Yay! Live streamers, your moderator today is Ann Steiskell from Oregon. Hi, Ann. Thank you very much. She'll be able to help you with anything you need. And now, let's celebrate being together here on this awesome Sunday and greet your neighbor. Thank you.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm Ruby Calorie. I'm honored to be your professional prayer practitioner of the day. We're going to have a chant, 2 minutes of silence. I'll do a prayer, and we'll do our affirmative prayer.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world.
In this perfect moment, sensing the love and presence of the divine, I'm fully aware of the power right here, right now. It's expressing through you and through me. Yes, we are one in spirit. God is the co-creator of our life. Each and every one of us here in this sacred community has all it takes to live a full, purposeful, and meaningful life. I like to declare that my life is good. It's filled with possibilities, love, joy, and peace. I claim this for myself and I claim this for you. Because we can. When we show up fully with all the amazing God's quality in our lives, miracle happens. God says yes to every conscious choice we make so that we have the best life possible. I am so grateful for this truth because this truth is my guidance. This truth is setting me free, free to live a best life possible. I am so, so grateful. Let this blessing be the blessing of others, not only in this week of Thanksgiving, but it's in how we show up every day, every moment. I let this word be my declaration. I release it to the Lord And I let it be. And blessed it be. And so it is. Doorway to ever increasing opportunities for self-expression is open before me. I'm continually meeting new and larger experiences. Every day brings some greater good. I'm prosper in everything I do.
When there was no time, and before there was a number, Spirit did prevail in a song of ecstasy. And before I had a dream or a lesson to remember, Spirit gently held the song inside of me. So I sing this song of joy. I sing a song of knowing that all is truly well, and that heaven is at hand. Even when I cry and I don't know just where I'm going, God's love does prevail, as God's love only can. For when there was no time, and before there was a number, Spirit did prevail in a song of ecstasy. And before I had a dream or a lesson to remember, Spirit gently held the song inside of me. Joy, and I sing a song of something higher, that all is truly well, and heaven is at hand. Sometimes we may cry that the world became a liar, but God's love does prevail, as God's love only can.
So beautiful. Hi, good morning. My name is Ann Marshall. I'm a member of this community for 3 years now. I want to welcome my families here today. My sister is watching live stream. Hi, Jane. I was on the stage a year ago talking about different challenges I had faced, difficulties with a long divorce. I was engaged, though, and I had a really well-paying job. But I spoke about how I had gotten to that point and how I had changed my life, reinvented myself. I thought I was pretty happy and grateful. I took Beyond Limits with Reverend Susan for the second time this summer. And if you haven't taken it, I strongly recommend it. So I want to share with you a few insights. When I want to reflect or remember how I felt during a challenging time in my life, I can just listen to an old playlist. I know this is an iPod. It's really big. My daughter's like, really? People listen to music on their phone. Well, I have my iPod, and I was at the gym yesterday listening to my 2010 workout playlist, and I almost started weeping on the elliptical. I couldn't believe the music I was listening to and that's how I felt in 2010. And I thought I was happy back then. But the songs were just yearning for love and just sad. This past January, I was in Bali with many of you. The last temple we visited was out in the ocean, and we could set an intention to wash something away. So I said, I'm going to wash away fear. I think change was in the air. I needed to release toxic people and toxic relationships. And the ball was rolling. This year has been so transformative for me. I returned from Bali with the courage to end a 10-year career with no real plan. It was very toxic. So I can email my resume. I've got it handy. I do marketing and events, if you wanted to know. I moved from one part of town to the other. I ended an engagement. Yeah. So, right before I moved, last trip to the pharmacy, my doctor, allergy doctor, always writing me brand new medications, the newest thing. So I go to the pharmacy, I see my favorite pharmacy tech, Charlie, and she tells me, I'm sorry, this is not on your formulary. And I thought, holy cow, I didn't know I had a formulary. And I was like, wow, okay, well, you have to talk to your insurance company, find out what is approved on your formulary, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay. So I got in the car and I'm driving home, and I just had this epiphany. What if you had a formulary for your life? What would be on that formulary? What's approved? What's not approved? So back up a decade. Not sure if anyone has done this exercise. What floats your boat? I did one called Anne's World. What are my likes and dislikes to help me find my identity? So I made a really long list. I would actually give this list to the men I dated. I thought it would be helpful. If they wanted to live in my world, these are some important things. I also have some required reading. I asked them to read Who Moved My Cheese and the 5 love languages because I want to know. I had my kids read them too. Julianne can attest. I'm eager to please, so I just wanted to know. I am still single. Anyway, back to my formulary. What is on my formulary? What will I accept? Freedom, coffee, positive people, no drama, love, joy, self-awareness, compassion, gratitude, patience, no judgment, music, the ocean, soft pillows, Jameson, I'm Irish. And clearly, I need a new playlist. And after first service, Ron actually offered to help me create a new playlist. I'm musically challenged. Thank you. So a new design for living might include a formulary. Think about what is on your formulary. Thank you.
Good morning, San Jose. Good morning, everyone live streaming. Good to be with you this morning. I'm very happy. I want to share with you my spiritual community. I also have a community of friends. many of whom I've met while on cruise ships somewhere around the world. There's a particular group that we met. I've told you this before. We were on, Mauricio and his mother and father and I were on the Panama Canal cruise. We went from Los Angeles to Florida, and then we ended that cruise with the opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando. It was the most spectacular trip ever. And on this trip, there was a photograph night, and there were a group of women, three mature women, adults, with very low-cut, provocative, beautiful gowns on, and they had pressed their business together, and they were like this, taking pictures, and Mao and I looked and said, we want to know these women. And the fun thing was, their men were standing on the walls, drinking beer, egging them on, and I thought, we definitely want to know it. So by the end of the cruise, our table and their table had merged, and 4 years later, we're still friends. If you were my Sacramento friends, would you stand so we could just acknowledge the six of you? Come on, just do it. Life, yeah, I just talked about business, didn't I? Well, this is nowhere but up now. So what is your formulary? What's going to be on that formulary? Well, whatever's on that formulary, it is my prayer that you will declare it into being, moving from a period of hopefulness, where I hope life will get better, or hope this will heal, or I hope I'll be happier, or I hope I'll lose weight, or I hope I'll be more vibrant and healthy. Hope keeps you smiling while the ship goes down. In our faith tradition, we're very fortunate because we have not limited ourselves to any particular bend, but we find that there's really truth everywhere if we would but see it. And the beauty is not just seeing it, but actually using it and applying it, because the impact really is in its application. Knowledge without application is useless. You know, if your faith tradition isn't inspiring you into action, you may want to get a different faith tradition. Because the thing itself, God, life, whatever you want to call it, it shows up in your experience and when you most need it, like when you're faced with trying to find a parking space at Costco at Christmas time. That's when you really want to practice your faith. Because it's not every day that people are getting diagnoses from their doctors or going through divorce or bankruptcy or foreclosure, although that's happening for people in this room. The everyday stuff, I think, is when we really could use our spiritual practice. So the way that we use it in our form of affirmative prayer is in a particular step. There's several steps in our prayer, but there's one in particular that is not to be overlooked, and that is the declaration. Now, we call it realization, but it's really a declaration. When you declare something, and you declare it into being. And this is distinct from the Catholic prayers that I was raised with. Now, for those of you who are wondering if I'm a recovering Catholic, I'm not, because I'm Catholic as much as I'm German and Irish and Scotch and Welsh and English and American and male. I'm Catholic because that's just part of my DNA. And I had a good time in the Catholic Church. I loved it. And I'm not a practicing Catholic. My mother's not watching online, so I can say that. But trust me, it's in me, everywhere I go. What I learned in my Catholic prayers, in catechism and in Catholic school, was I learned that prayers are really to see how profoundly effective you could be in begging God to give you what you want, or what you need, or to please step in and save you. And what was sad about that for me was that it occurred that sometimes God answered and sometimes God didn't. And even as a kid, I wondered, why would God not let me have that? Well, ours is not a request, it's a declaration. It's like the distinction between programming your GPS for Sacramento, let's say, and the GPS finds the route for me to get to Sacramento, versus me asking, oh GPS, please, if you find me worthy, will you get me to Sacramento? And the GPS, somehow I intuit, well, I know that's not your will. It's your will that I go to Modesto. That's silly. A GPS doesn't argue. A GPS's role is to take your information and find you the most efficient route. That's what happens with prayer. We make the declaration, we make the programming, and life itself gives us the most efficient route. The problem is not life itself. The problem is almost always the programmer, because we program it with all kinds of faulty information. Like, get me to Sacramento, unless I really want to go to Vallejo, and then maybe I'm going to go to Benicia. Well, no, I don't really want to go to Benicia. I'm not worthy for Benicia. I'm going to fill in the blank. The system is not faulty, it's the user. And prayer, if one would stick to it in its most profound and effective method, requires something of you, the prayer. It requires integrity. The person who achieves results in prayer is the person of integrity. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Declaration. That's our topic today. Declaration. I've been listening to a series of CDs. They're recordings of something called The Moth. And the moth is like the insect, the moth. But the moth in this incarnation is a cabaret-type evening that happens in major cities all around the world, wherein normal people like you, well, you're kind of normal. Normal people like you and me would just get up at the microphone and tell stories, and we have a maximum of 12 minutes to do it. The kind of stories you would hear at Thanksgiving dinner at your family or friends, or the kind of stories you'd hear told at a dinner table at a wedding. They're not always happy. Some of them are pretty sad, and they don't always end, with happily ever after, but they're real stories. And I've been listening, highly moved by The Moth. One story in particular really describes the importance of declaration and the importance of having your life follow the direction of your declaration so that your declaration can come to fruition. It's a story told by a man named James. And James is setting up his declaration by telling us a little bit about his history. See, James was raised by a man and woman, and James's father was a decorated war hero. He had flown bomber jets during the Korean conflict, and at dinner one night, James's father was recounting the time that the plane was shot down, the plane wherein his father was flying. And James said, what were the guys, the other men and servicemen in the plane doing while the plane was headed towards Earth? And the father says, they were crying and saying, please, Captain, we don't want to die. Please save us. And James said to his father, and what were you doing, Dad? And his father said, I was solving the problem. Because crying never solved any problem. So James said, you get an idea of what my dad was like. So James was in high school, and he was in a high school rock band. It was his glam British rocker phase. And he said he had his Farrah Fawcett hair, and he had his red, glossy, shiny jacket cinched at the waist and open to the navel. And he was shirtless, showing off his concaved British rocker chest. And at the end of the concert, he says to his dad, hey, Dad, what do you think? And his father says, boy, you're not wearing a shirt. So James decided in that moment, he made a declaration, and that was he was going to be the type of father that was accepting of his children's choices. That was his declaration. Careful what you ask for. So James is now an adult, and he has two boys, 8-month-old Owen and 3.5-year-old Oliver. And Oliver's favorite color is pink. And it started with a pink crayon. Oliver found a pink crayon, and that's the only crayon that he wanted. And that accelerated to Oliver's love of open-toed pink sandals. And then Oliver found his mother's pink nail polish, which was kind of cute for a 3-year-old to be in pink nail polish, and his pink beret that he would keep in his pink purse when it wasn't in his hair. And then Oliver said, just before his 3rd birthday, he says to his dad, Daddy, what I want for my birthday is a pink bike. And James thought to himself, now that's just a little too much pink. Not because pink is a girl's color and boys should have a different color, but the truth is, James realized, that he had hoped secretly that Oliver would want a red bike, like James had had as a kid. So James set out to change Oliver's opinion, much the way James's mother had changed his opinion by trying to make James's mother's ideas seem like James's. So James took Oliver to the park daily and noticed everything red, like, wow, look at that red banner. That'd be a great color for a bike, don't you think? And wow, look at that red jacket. That would be a great color for a bike, don't you think? And wow, look at that fire engine. That would be a great color for a bike, don't you think? To which Oliver replied that he wanted now a fire engine and a pink bicycle. So James realized he had lost the game. He was going to buy Oliver a pink bike, and that began the difficulty, because trying to find just a simple pink bike that was pink in color with no decals was difficult. He said, you could find the Color Me Barbie 2000 bike in pink. You could find many other girly type bikes in pink, but no just simple pink bike. And he found one after 20 days of searching every day from Canal Street all the way to 125th Street in New York City. So he found a pink bike. And on the morning of Oliver's birthday, the bike was parked in the playroom as all the other kids were arriving for the birthday party. And in comes Jeremy. And Jeremy's pushing his bicycle. It's called the Mountain Cub. And it's dark boy blue with paw prints all over it. And James began to get nervous, wondering how the kids were going to react to his son Oliver's pink bike. And when Jeremy saw the pink bike, he started crying. And he cried to his mother and said, I want a pink bike. And then James had this revelation, Jeremy, you're right. Why does Oliver get a pink bike? I want a pink bike too. And the story unfolds into closets and dresses, but we don't need to go there. But James made a declaration that he was going to be the type of father that was accepting of his children's choices. And then, in order to be a person who can experience answered prayer, James was required, as are you if you dare take on the assignment, to do what it is that you can do within your power to be supportive of the prayer that you pray. See, treat and move your feet. Your job is to pray and then live your life in accordance with your prayer. This is where integrity comes in. We don't just declare that we want something to happen and then don't alter your life such that makes it welcome. We must alter our lives to be in alignment with what the prayer is. There are folks who get married and want to be married always and forever. By the way, whenever I talk about relationship, keep in mind, I presume that you chose well. And if you haven't yet chosen well and you're still seeking, choose well. And when you choose well, there's only two rules for relationship for me. Choose well, treat kindly. Choose well, treat kindly. Choose well, treat kindly. Choose well, and treat kindly. So when I talk about relationship and the way that I suggest you may want to consider managing, consider trying on something in yours, I'm presuming you chose well. I'm not presuming that you chose someone who's abusive or someone to whom you're abusive, because then what I'm sharing right now is null and void. I know a couple that when they married, they declared, their declaration was, we will never use the D word, divorce. Divorce. Some people use divorce as a weapon. It becomes actually a conversation. It becomes part of the relationship. But I've learned, don't mention things as an option unless you're willing to have it happen. So if divorce as a conversation is not a possibility, you will find other solutions. Again, the proviso here is that you've chosen wisely. If you've not chosen wisely, again, I will say, this is null and void. But if you've chosen wisely, and the D word is not an option, you will find other solutions. Because I don't know any relationship that doesn't have its seasons. You know, there's summertime, and the fruition of your relationship is present, and then there's autumn where things begin to dwindle, and then there's the winter. It might be cold and frigid, but if you hang on, springtime comes again. Relationships are like seasons too. And sometimes you need to nurture the relationship when it's in the season of cold. You know, don't leave it out on the cold doorstep. You need to bring it inside and warm it up. Do with that what you will. Last night I experienced a profound example of a company making a declaration and then altering their behavior such to be in alignment with their declaration. The Children's Musical Theater of San Jose, the CMT, Children's Musical Theater. If you are not a member or don't attend, may I suggest that you really consider it. They have all different levels of performances and offerings. One of them is the young stage. Everyone on stage is 16 or younger. Everyone is 16 or younger. It's beautiful, amazing, messy, and awesome. So last night we saw this version of Sound of Music. Now, why I'm telling you this is that Children's Musical Theater, and it closes today, and it's been running for 4 weeks, and every performance has been sold out. You can't even get a ticket. Not even standing room. Not even if you're the parent of the star. But the Children's Musical Theater of San Jose made a declaration, and the declaration is this: every child that auditions gets a role. That's reason enough for me to want to live in San Jose. That there is a musical theater that exists, that every child that auditions gets a role. Every child. Now, this could pose a problem if, when, like this particular production, 250 children audition. 250 kids auditioned, and every one of them got a role. You know how they did it? The director is a saint and a miracle worker. He created 4 different casts of 62 people. And each one of those casts got a full week's performance. So he directed not just 1, but 4, with 62 kids in each one. Now, I don't know if you know anything about kids, but not every kid is well behaved. I was watching last night. I've noticed that some kids have special needs. And they were not exempt from this stage. Off on the side near the wings, you saw all kinds of interesting things happening on stage. And I got to watch as the other children apparently have been trained how to manage it. It was amazing. But this is a company who has, as part of its mission, the declaration that every child gets a role. And they don't create new rules to adjust their declaration when 250 kids apply. They adjust the way they do business. So when you pray and you make a declaration, you may need to adjust the way you do business. Like, I can't pray to have a better relationship and then hope Mauricio changes. Well, I do that all the time, but it's never worked. Real effective prayer is like programming my GPS for a direction. I make a declaration, and now my job is to drive me there. And the support of the universe will step in to see that that happens. If I'm like, I must be in integrity. And integrity is distinct from morality. Integrity, it's a conversation I like to have. I have it a lot because it's useful for me to keep remembering over and over to be a man of my word. I must be a man of my word. Not because that makes me a good person, but my life works when I'm a man of my word. And when I break my word, the thing I need to do is clean it up, make new promises, and keep them. It's that easy. So I make a promise, I'm going to go to the gym. I don't go to the gym, so I make a new promise. Now, go to the gym. This is not morality, whereas I made a promise to go to the gym. I didn't go to the gym. I'm a bad person. I didn't go to the gym. Integrity is distinct from morality. It's workability. So when I make a declaration that I am going to be healthy-minded in actions and words and deeds, then it's my job to actually be those things so that the thing itself can show up in my life and participate in causing it to happen. I'm not allowed to be the frumpy, complaining, whining, moaning, unmoving lump waiting for God to step in and do it, because then I will have the experience that God is absent. And then I have the experience that God is absent, and I lose my faith, and then I just become a curmudgeon. And that doesn't work for me. So, my role is to take that on and to make my declarations and then to follow through. And we will have, you're going to have we call it the paradoxical mystical approach. The paradoxical mystical approach is this. Make your declaration. Now your job is to not make it happen. That's not your job. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to make it welcome. You've heard me say this before. Your job is to make it welcome. So I don't have to make even being at the gym happen. My job is to make it welcome. And the way I make it welcome is I set my alarm, I get out of bed, I brush my teeth, I put my head in the sink, I put on my clothes, tie my shoes, drink my shake, go to the gym. That's how I make it welcome. And then I show up and I make it welcome by putting my hands around the bar. Now I don't have to make it happen because something happens in my muscles and my blood and my oxygen. I'm not making it happen, I'm making it welcome. The way I make it welcome is by showing up. Thank you. He's with me. Make it welcome. So currently what I'm making welcome is the healing of my washing machine. So yesterday, day before yesterday, I ran a load, and it's one of those amazing European style units that's front loading, but it's not a washer dryer stackable or side-by-side combo. It's one piece that you throw the clothes, you gently place the clothes in, you close it, you put in your detergents and all the things, you hit start. It washes them, it rinses them, and it dries them all in the same unit. Now it takes about 6 hours to complete a cycle. Because it's also ventless. Now people hear 6 hours, that's a lot of electricity, but judge ye not. Because this thing is so fancy that while the tub is rotating, it's generating electricity. So it's actually generating the electricity that it uses. And it takes 6 hours, and so there's always a load running in the household. But on Friday, it got to the drain and rinse cycle, and it flashed an error code to me. And then I thought, well, the thing to do is open it, stop it, open it, stop it, start it all over again, and then cross my fingers and cast some spells and then get out of its way. And it ran the same cycle to a certain point, and then it got the error reading. And then I emptied all these wet clothes into a bucket, and I thought, well, that's it. Told Mauricio. Then the next day, yesterday, we went shopping. We went to Home Depot. We checked online for Lowe's, Sears, and everything to find a replacement. We found the right price. We got them to extend interest-free payments, free delivery. They're going to take away the old one, and they're going to deliver it on next Saturday. So I'm laying in bed yesterday taking a nap. And while I'm trying to take a nap, God interrupted. I don't know if you've ever had this happen. Have you ever had this happen where you lay down and you think, oh, I'm so sleepy. And the idea was, it wasn't like I was obsessing about flossing or getting a manicure or a pedicure or something that I just really love to do. I was obsessing with, wait a minute, I remembered Kathy Ann Lewis telling a group of us who were in a retreat with her once that she wondered, if prayer can help people and animals and things, why not machines? So she declared that her prayers heal machines too. And then she began to experiment and have a really good time at it. Now, she's the minister of a congregation about 4 times this size. And so they have a lot of machines in their place. And anytime anyone broke down, they didn't call IT or any of the tech specialists. They'd carry them into Reverend Kathy's office. And she would, and then they would work. They would work. Documented healings. And so I snuck out of bed thinking, don't wake up Mal, because I don't want him to see this, because it's kind of freaky. Because I'm thinking, this is kind of freaky, but I can tell you, because who are you going to tell? And you online, keep it to yourself. So I sit cross-legged in front of this LG machine that's flashing its lights, and I'm having a conversation with it. I'm like, look, buddy, I got your replacement ordered. But I'm thinking, I've really liked you, and we've had a really good relationship, and it's only been 7 years. And I'm thinking you and I can be around for 15 to 20 years, and I want you to be healed now! And I was, for a minute there, thinking, nobody's watching, and okay. And I hit start, and it went, and it started going through the whole cycle, and I went, and it worked. It totally worked. So we went to the theater last night, and then when we got home, I put another load in, and it was working fine. And then this morning when I got up, all night long, I was thinking, but maybe I was just lucky. That was my declaration. Maybe I was just lucky. And so this morning I put another load in, and I'm in the shower, and when I came out, the light's flashing. Like, crap. So at least I'm beginning the process of healing machines. In the meantime, I'm just going to stick with people. So I got to tell you something about integrity. I'm going to close with this. So truth is when you form words to match the experience. You know, like when you're telling the truth, tell the truth about how you feel. I feel sick, I feel tired, I feel bloated, I feel unhappy, I feel depressed. That's when you form words to match the experience. But integrity is when you form your experience to match the words. If you are a person of integrity and you make a declaration like, my life is healed, I am powerful, I am peaceful, I am making an impact, I am kind, I am generous, I am transformation in action. When you make those kinds of declarations, in order for you to have integrity, you now take your actions and you alter your expressions to match your words. That's the distinction of a true mystic, is a person who takes any situation and alters it because you alter yourself in the presence of it. So the question I leave you with today is, what are you declaring? Dave, let's pray. I'm very grateful to have a brief moment to powerfully speak my word, which is prayer in affirmative form. I know there's only one power. One power. There's not two powers that are opposed to each other. There's not a good power and a bad power that are at each other. There's not a light power and a dark power that are going to eradicate each other. There's only one power. And that power is used for everything. Just like there's only electricity, there's not good electricity and bad electricity. There's not good electricity that lights this room and bad electricity that causes fires. There's only electricity and its use. And since there's only power, I'm using it right now by speaking my word. And right now I'm conforming my life to be in alignment with these words. These words, this word, my word, is this. The person that you were when you walked into this room doesn't exist anymore. Each of us in this room has been altered so that when we leave here new, brand new. We're new with our families, our neighborhoods, our relationships, our friends. We're new in our work, with our treatments, at our gyms, hospitals, coffee shops, and supermarkets. We're new when we look in the mirror with our inner conversations, and we're new because we're making an impact in the world. And that means the world is now new. And this is the day to celebrate, and I'm grateful. I have nothing else to say except, and so it is. So being this is Thanksgiving week, I want to thank you all for your extraordinary generosity. Very grateful to you for all of that you have given to keep us alive and thriving. I'm also thankful for the communities the community that's not here anymore that caused this place to come into being. You know, the people, I don't know if you know, but back in the 70s, 6 families second mortgaged their homes so this building could be purchased. And then this spiritual community paid all 6 of those families back. That's amazing. What you may not know is that back in that period, there was a girl here. She was a teenager. Her grandmother used to bring her, and she hasn't been here in close to 30 years, but she's here today. Her name is Julie. Julie. Hi, Julie. Welcome home. Good to have you back. Does it kind of feel familiar? It's totally different. Yeah. What you may not know is Bob Scott took his letter of call the day I was born. So the minister of the church that moved us here took his letter of call. He signed a contract the day I was born. Interesting. Woo! And if any of you can heal washers, please come see me after service. So I want to thank you for your generosity. If you're a guest, when the usher passes in front of you and the basket passes in front of you, give if you feel called. But know that as our guest, we have no expectation. Please say our giving affirmation with me, won't you? I share my resources and talents with ease and grace. I use my good to love and serve the world. And our musician today is Omega Ray. Can you help me thank Omega Ray?
Hi everybody, happy Sunday.
numbers in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor. We have an usher greeter training that is happening today at 12:30. If you would like to be an usher or greeter, if you're not sure if you want to be an usher or greeter, please just come at 12:30, and Gregory Merritt and our lovely usher folks will give you a brief orientation. And Reverend Maureen's class is from 2 to 4 today. Her group, Let's Talk About, that's today at 2. Tonight at 7 p.m. is Conversations with God, facilitated by Danny Betty. So you just kind of go grab lunch and hang out all day. And then you probably heard me tell you already, tickets are on sale for our fantastic holiday program. It's a Wonderful Life, the live radio broadcast. Woo! December 12th and 13th, so you have fans. December 12th and 13th at 8 p.m. You can get tickets online, or you can visit us in Fellowship Hall for this lovely play that takes place in Bedford Falls in 1946. So there's that accent. And Wednesday night, for those of you who have been paying attention, Wednesday night is our fantastic Bowls of Thanksgiving. We have 27 varieties of soup in crock pots and pots. It's amazing. And we still need bread and dessert. So if you would like to bring bread or donate bread or dessert, please stop at the bowl table in Fellowship Hall, and they will sign you up for dessert or bread. And that's at 5:30. And you can also, today's the last day also to bid on a bowl, and then you get your very own bowl that you can bring and fill as often as you like. And then at 7 p.m., we will have our gratitude service. It's my favorite night of the year. It's kind of informal and fantastic. It's kind of like soup kitchen meets spirituality. It's beautiful. So we hope you'll join us on Wednesday. There is no satsang this Wednesday at 6:30 because of the gratitude service. But that will resume next Wednesday. And then on Friday, for those of you who have no intention of being near a mall or a store, on Friday night, our women's group is hosting their Eat, Pray, Love event. It's dinner and a movie Friday night at 6 p.m. You can speak with Phyllis Gallagher about that. And, carpenters, painters. So there's 2 more Sundays left, said the director, to get our set painted. So if you want to go home and change clothes and come back at 1 o'clock and wield a paintbrush, we'd love to have you. Our outreach team is doing toys this month until December 6th. We're partnering with Family Giving Tree, so you can pick up a tag that has a toy for a specific child that you can get, or you can just bring a toy and put it in the Toys for Tots barrel. And lastly, we are giving our parents a timeout on December 6th. We're doing our Parents' Day Out. So from 1 to 5 in the afternoon, you can drop off the kids, finish your grocery shopping or your Christmas shopping, or wrap presents while they're not there, or whatever you would like to do in those 4 hours of free time without your children. Just please don't tell us, and have a good time. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. If you'd like prayer, please take a seat in the chapel, and a practitioner will pray with you.
Liz. We have a ceremony now that will take approximately 3.5 to 4 minutes. So I appreciate your being present for that. It's an opportunity for us to officially and publicly install our newest members, and it gives them an opportunity to make a declaration about their own spirituality. So the following people have dedicated themselves to the mission of Center for Spiritual Living. I'm going to ask you to please hold your applause until they've all been standing. So the new member candidates, when I call your name, please stand. Darren Alami, Holly Brown, Joyce Churchill, Don Curry, Nisa Eubanks, Zariah Garay, Sue Griffiths, Lisa Jensen, Jennifer Jones, John Juarez, Todd Lansford, Marlis Mitrovich, Pat Moore, Mary Moore, Linda Morell, Jim Pena, Brandon Bochatilla, Tom Rimmel, Lori Rodriguez, Peter Rushbrook, Melissa Samimi, Michael Schlager, Donna Scott, Brooke Scudder, Beth Shafran Mukai, Mike Shiflett, Steve Sloan, Susan Sloan, William Smith III, Dale Stoker, Bear Summers, Chris Templeton, Bill Thiemann, Cheryl Thomas, Les Washburn, Tracy Wygand, Marianne Whiteman, Rich Williams, Mary Sue Barbaccia. I ask you, each of you who are standing here, do you come here today of your own free will, conscious of your decision to commit yourself to this spiritual community? If so, declare, I do. Core Council, I ask you to please join me on the stage. For those of you who don't know what a Core Council is, this is your elected board of trustees. Those of you walking up here with me, you are the stewards and the delegates of this congregation, and as such, do you vote affirmatively to accept these new member candidates into the official membership of Center for Spiritual Living? If so, declare, I do.
I do.
Licensed practitioners and practitioners in training, both Prac 2 and Prac 1, would you please stand wherever you are? Do you promise to open your minds and hearts and arms to these new members, and will you commit to serve them to the best of your ability with your time and your attention, treating them as if they were the true presence of God, to pray and to counsel them? If so, please declare, I do. I do. And staff members, whether you are full-time, part-time, paid, or volunteer, that would include leader of any team or anyone who's on the leadership at cslsj.org list. Would you please stand if you're not already standing? I figure that's pretty much, there you are. Do you, Kathleen, do you promise? Do you promise to everything you've heard so far? You do. And everyone present today, core, practitioner, staff, member, friend, and visitor alike, will you all please stand? Do you agree to lovingly support each of these new members in their decision to love, honor, and accept themselves as divine beings? If so, please declare, I do. I do. And do you welcome them into your spiritual community, and do you commit to do your best to show them that they are honored and valued and noticed? If so, please declare, I do. I do. Thank you. You may all be seated except for the new member candidates.
New member candidates, do you promise to make your spiritual practice a priority? If so, please say, I do. I do. Will you share your time, talent, and treasure to ensure the success and sustainability of this spiritual community? If so, please say, I will. I will. Do you dedicate yourself to God in all that you think, all that you say, and all that you do, seeking always a greater expression of your spiritual nature? If so, please say, I do. I do. Recognizing that you have each consented to be renewed in attitude and love for who you really are, and have witnessed the same before Spirit and each other by the authority vested in us by the membership of this community, we now pronounce you to be official members of the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose. Friends, please help me in welcoming them by saying, welcome home.
Welcome home. Your left, and join me in our call response, which is our custom. I am at home in the heart of God.
I am at home in the heart of God.
We're going to do that again. If you know, that was awesome. And let's make it really awesome as a declaration. A declaration about which, by the way, you are going to conform your life to make sure it happens. I am at home in the heart of God.
I am at home in the heart of God.
My life is anchored in truth.
My life is anchored in truth.
I can never be separate.
I can never be separate.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I release all fear.
I release all fear.
I am living love.
I am living love.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Welcome. How are you? Nicely done. Very nicely done. Second service is so much more playful, aren't they? Hi, Sandy. Yeah, totally. Hold this for a minute.